Have you ever looked at someone and wondered how they became so disciplined, so calm, so confident, while everyone else seems stuck in the same cycle of stress, distraction, and self-doubt? Have you ever felt like your life is moving, but you are not really growing? Like the days keep passing, but deep down, you are still fighting the same weak habits, the same hesitation, the same invisible exhaustion? What if the problem is not that you lack motivation, but that you have never chosen the right form of training? What if confidence is not something people are born with, but something quietly built through repetition? And what if one simple hobby could slowly rebuild the way you think, act, speak, and carry yourself? Most people treat hobbies like entertainment, a temporary escape from boredom, something to kill time after work. But a small percentage of people use hobbies differently. They use them like private rituals of transformation, quiet disciplines that sharpen the mind while the world stays distracted. This is not laziness. This is misdirected energy. This is not weakness. This is untapped strength, waiting for structure. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. In other words, whatever you repeatedly expose yourself to eventually becomes your identity. And Epictetus taught that no man is free if he is not master of himself. That is why today, you will discover 10 hobbies that look ordinary from the outside, but quietly build mental toughness, composure, focus, and self-respect on the inside. These are not distractions. These are forms of training. And stay until the end, because one of these hobbies is the fastest way to upgrade your confidence without becoming loud, fake, or attention-seeking. Most people avoid it because it feels uncomfortable in the beginning. But discomfort is often the doorway to transformation. If this resonates, comment ready. The first hobby is boxing. Not to fight other people, but to fight the version of yourself that collapses under pressure. Imagine stepping into a boxing gym for the first time. Your hands feel awkward. Your breathing is unstable. Your mind panics. The second pressure appears. Most people quit right there. They think confidence comes before action, but you begin to understand something deeper. Confidence is born during action. Every punch teaches timing. Every round teaches endurance. Every mistake teaches humility. Most people run from pressure, but you learn to stay calm inside it. This is not violence. This is emotional control under stress. Boxing forces you to breathe while your heart races. It teaches you that fear can scream in your mind without controlling your actions. And once you realize you can survive discomfort physically, you stop fearing it mentally too. The Stoics believe that adversity reveals character, not creates it. Reveals it. Boxing exposes your impatience, your ego, your excuses, and gives you a chance to rebuild yourself stronger every single week. And the strange thing is, after enough rounds, life itself begins to feel lighter, conversations feel easier, challenges feel smaller, because your nervous system no longer treats discomfort like danger. The second hobby is journaling. Simple, quiet, powerful. Most people spend years avoiding their own thoughts. They distract themselves constantly because silence forces honesty. But the moment you begin writing, you begin seeing. Imagine sitting alone at night with nothing but a notebook, and your thoughts, no performance, no audience, just truth. At first, it feels uncomfortable because you realize how chaotic your mind really is. How many fears repeat themselves every day? How many excuses sound intelligent until you write them down? But this is where clarity begins. Seneca wrote about reviewing his actions every evening, examining himself honestly instead of emotionally. That is what journaling becomes, a conversation with your higher self. Most people let emotions control their decisions, but you learn to observe emotions without obeying them. This is not overthinking. This is self-awareness. The more you write, the more patterns become visible. The same triggers, the same insecurities, the same habits sabotaging your future. And once you can see clearly, you can finally change deliberately. 1 page a day can quietly rebuild your entire mindset. The third hobby is weightlifting. Not for vanity, not for approval, for discipline. The iron has no sympathy for excuses. It responds only to effort. Imagine walking into the gym on a day when you feel tired, stressed, unmotivated. Most people let emotions decide their actions, but you show up anyway. That changes something deep inside you, because every rep becomes proof that you can act without waiting to feel ready. Most people want comfort first, but you learn that growth comes first, comfort comes later. This is not punishment. This is self-respect. Weightlifting teaches delayed gratification, slow progress, patience. You realize that real strength is built invisibly before it becomes visible, and the lesson transfers into every area of life. You become less reactive, more grounded, more resilient under pressure. Because once you train your body to endure resistance, your mind stops panicking every time life becomes difficult. Quick pause here. If this video speaks to something inside you, subscribe to Stoic Spring, not for entertainment, for reminders. Because in a world designed to distract you constantly, you need something that reminds you to return to yourself. Now keep watching, because the next hobby is the one most people avoid, even though it can completely transform how the world responds to you. Communication. This changes everything. Most people think communication means talking more, talking louder, dominating conversations. But true communication is calm, clear, and intentional. Imagine being able to speak without apologizing for your existence. Imagine holding eye contact without anxiety. Imagine saying no without guilt. That is power. At first, communication training feels deeply uncomfortable because it exposes insecurity immediately. You realize how often you rush your words, avoid honesty, or seek approval without noticing it. But discomfort is the training ground. Most people hide behind vague words, but you learn to speak directly and calmly. This is not arrogance. This is grounded presence. You begin practicing simple things, slowing down your speech, listening fully before reacting, learning how to express disagreement without emotional chaos, and slowly, people begin responding differently to you. Not because you became louder, but because you became clearer. The Stoics understood that a disciplined mind creates disciplined speech. Your words reveal your inner state. Calm people speak calmly. Secure people speak clearly. And once your communication changes, relationships, opportunities, and self-respect begin changing too. The fifth hobby is reading. One book can save you years of pain. Most people consume endless noise every day. Short clips, endless scrolling, information without depth. But reading trains the mind to focus deeply in a distracted world. Imagine reading the thoughts of people who survived wars, failures, heartbreak, poverty, rejection, and still found wisdom. That changes perspective. Most people seek quick stimulation, but you learn to seek understanding. This is not entertainment. This is mental nourishment. Read philosophy to strengthen your mind. Read biographies to expand perspective. Read psychology to understand yourself. Read practical books to become useful. The Stoics treated wisdom like daily training, not intellectual decoration. And something powerful happens when you read consistently. Your thinking becomes slower, but sharper. You stop reacting emotionally to every little problem because your mind now contains larger perspectives than the moment in front of you. The sixth hobby is running. Running teaches you how to continue after your emotions give up. Imagine waking up early while the world is still asleep. Your body wants comfort. Your mind negotiates excuses. Stay in bed. Skip today. Start tomorrow. Most people obey that voice automatically, but you put on your shoes anyway, and every kilometer becomes a battle between discipline and comfort. This is not cardio. This is identity training. Because each time you continue despite discomfort, you send your mind a message. I do not quit because something feels hard. Running builds endurance physically, emotionally, mentally, and eventually, you realize something profound. The person who can keep running when tired can keep going in life when things become difficult too. That is why endurance matters so much. Not because life is a sprint, but because life constantly tests your ability to continue. If you feel this, come on. The seventh hobby is learning a high-income skill. Most people spend years waiting for opportunity, waiting for permission, waiting for someone else to recognize their potential. But useful skills create freedom. Copywriting, coding, sales, video editing, design, media buying, skills that solve problems and create value. Imagine no longer depending completely on luck or external validation. Imagine knowing that wherever you go, you can create income because you possess something valuable. That changes your posture instantly. Most people consume value, but you learn to produce it. This is not greed. This is independence. A high-income skill forces you to think clearly. communicate effectively, and tolerate failure repeatedly while improving, and perhaps most importantly, it removes helplessness. Because once you understand that skills can be learned, your entire future stops feeling fixed. The eighth hobby is content creation, not for fame, for clarity. Most people have thoughts they never express, ideas they never organize, wisdom they never share. But creating content forces you to think deeply enough to explain clearly. Imagine recording your first video, writing your first post, publishing something imperfect, while your mind screams that people will judge you. That fear is exactly why this hobby transforms people. Most people hide their voice, but you practice using yours. This is not attention-seeking. This is courage. Creation teaches consistency, patience, communication, emotional resilience. At first, almost nobody watches, but that is the hidden gift. Because you learn how to continue creating without immediate validation, and that ability becomes priceless in every area of life. In a distracted world, the ability to communicate ideas clearly is leverage. The ninth hobby is meditation. Quietness has become rare. Most people cannot sit alone with their thoughts for even 5 minutes without reaching for stimulation. Music, notifications, noise, anything to avoid stillness. But meditation trains the ability to observe without reacting. Imagine sitting silently while your thoughts race wildly. At first, it feels impossible. Your mind jumps everywhere. Anxiety surfaces, restlessness appears, but slowly, space begins to form between you and your thoughts. Most people become controlled by every emotion, but you learn to witness emotions without surrendering to them. This is not escape. This is mastery. Meditation teaches inner stability in a world addicted to reaction, and the Stoics understood this deeply. External chaos becomes less dangerous when internal chaos is under control. A calm mind is not weak. A calm mind is difficult to break. The 10th and final hobby is calisthenics, the art of mastering your own body. Pull-ups, dips, handstands, levers, movements that require patience, control, and humility. There are no shortcuts here. Your body immediately reveals the truth about your discipline. Most people avoid challenges that expose weakness, but you choose challenges that strengthen weakness. This is not showing off, this is self-mastery. Calisthenics teaches body awareness, patience, and persistence. Progress comes slowly, sometimes painfully slowly, but every small improvement feels earned, and that changes how you see yourself, because when you repeatedly overcome resistance, you stop identifying as someone fragile. Now here is the truth that makes this entire video matter. Do not collect hobbies. Choose one practice, one commitment, one form of training that you refuse to negotiate with for the next 6 months. Most people stay stuck because they keep restarting. New motivation, new plans, new distractions. But transformation belongs to people who stay consistent long enough for their habits to become identity. The 1% is not magical. They simply build routines that survive moods. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning that he was meant to do the work of a human being, not just think about it, not fantasize about it. Do it. And that is your challenge now. Pick one hobby from this list. Start small, but start immediately. Because 6 months from now, your entire energy can feel different. Your discipline can feel different. Your confidence can feel different. Not because the world changed, because you changed. If this resonated, subscribe, like, and protect your inner peace. And before you go, comment the one hobby you are choosing and why. Your future self is listening.